Terraforming the solar system. You may have heard of the famous saying, the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. Even though we all live in the same Earth, people's consciousness, people's mindset is radically different. I mean, I learned that when I was a therapist for many years. Just the way people think is totally different. Like one person would come in with a certain mindset, one person would be concerned with X, another with Y, A, B, C, D. So there's so much going on in terms of space and space colonization. I've done tons and tons of podcasts on it. But a lot of people aren't aware of it. Like a lot of people think, oh, we might get to Mars someday, but there's a lot of work being done for what's next after Mars. So if you really want to be on the leading edge, then, you know, it's not just about Elon Musk and Mars, it's about all the things that are going on beyond that. So terraforming the solar system. So I've talked about economies of scales. Level 1 is when you can harness all the energy of your planet. And we're about like 0.7 there right now, I think, on that scale, somewhere around there, I believe. Level 2 is when you can harness all the energy of your solar systems. That's like Dyson spheres. There's many different kind of Dyson spheres. To trap the energy of the sun. They don't have to be solid. They could be amorphous, but there's still a lot of ways to trap all or most of the energy of the sun. It could actually change the sun as we do some of these things with Dyson spheres and the like. We could also use all the energy for the solar system as well, break up or use or mine Jupiter and Ceres and Titan and the other bodies in the solar system. And level 3 is when you can harness all the energy in the Milky Way, in your solar system, which in our case is the Milky Way. Level 4 is when you could use all the energy in your universe, I believe, and I believe level 5 is when you could use all the energy in all the universes, like multiverses. And some people say there's a level 6 as well, which I forget what it is at the moment. But so terraforming the solar system. So I've done podcasts on what are some of the likely stops, beyond Mars, and you can listen to those, and also some examination of what are some of the networks and processes that would have to be involved as we explore the solar system and colonize it and beyond. Now, I really want to put a shout out to Isaac Arthur. A lot of my ideas are kind of offshoots or things that I've learned and built upon. Because Isaac Arthur is the foremost authority that I've seen, at least on YouTube, in terms of building an entire framework in terms of all these space issues and space colonization and solar system and Milky Way and galaxies and Dyson spheres and all different, probably 1,000 different topics. So I would definitely recommend him highly to check him out. So terraforming the solar system, what does that mean? So it can mean, setting up space colonies. Those could be on the planets or asteroids or moons, or it can be colonizing outside of them. Through O'Neill cylinders and other kinds of megastructures. And there's many different types. And again, I would refer you to Isaac Arthur or some of the work that I've done also. Isaac Arthur does it in a lot more depth in terms of megastructures. They talk about and I've talked about Tesla and SpaceX and how, Elon Musk colonizing Mars, helping to do so, is going to give Tesla and SpaceX huge capabilities, on Mars economically, because just like how Tesla is taking over Earth, significantly in terms of transportation and solar, those same kind of issues in space travel for SpaceX are going to apply to Mars. And then Starlink, the internet, we're going to need Mars Starlink. I talked about Vint-Cerf and how they are building a internet network for interplanetary use. So we'll be using Starlink on Mars and Teslas and SpaceX and solar and battery storage. And then as we expand outward, we'll be using all those things outward. So space economies are fascinating. So terraforming Mars, and there's a lot of discussion in terms of what that would be involved. It's important to understand the different compositions and qualities of the different places. This will affect where we space colonize. So Europa with the engine, with the undersea ocean, there's a lot of work in terms of like what kind of drilling needs to be done to tap into that, and how you can communicate with a drill that has so much ice above it. And so basically to terraform the solar system, we're going to have to like understand like what are the characteristics and qualities relative to both robots being there and eventually humans being there, and then what are the different options in terms of transforming. So like on Mars, for example, they say initially we're going to have to live under a dome because it's, not enough gravity, too much CO2, and a bunch of other factors that I've indicated before. So I'm not going to get into like each different, place and how it's going to be terraformed, but I want you to start thinking about like what are the, what are the different factors related to space colonization, and what are the different factors related to each environment. Will we be living on the planet? Will we be, living off the planet? How will we be, communicating and transporting ourselves between these different sites? And then start thinking about what are the options for terraforming, each individual location.